on the screen. Today we continue with our weekly episode of Student Connect. We are in Kawe at the only university abroad, Mulungushi University, on an episode balancing academics and hustle. Across campuses today, students are wearing more than one hat. By day, they attend lecture. By night, they hustle, not for luxury, but for survival. In today's episode, we explore the growing reality of students balancing academics with income generating activity. Does hustle build resilience or does it silently push students towards burnout? Let's explore this reality together. All right, we are here unpacking this reality together. When I was growing up, I always had this, dream of being captured on top of a building. And here I am at Mulungushi University on top of Multipurpose Hall, in case you don't know, it's Multipurpose Hall. Okay, joining me today is, I'll allow him to introduce himself.
All right, thank you very much, sir. My name is Sinyangwa Muitwa. I'm a student at the only university abroad, that is Mulungushi University. And of course, I'm currently pursuing a Bachelor's of Business Administration and Marketing. And I am a first year.
He's a first year Mulungushi University student from the School of Business. Okay, Mr. Muitwa, we are here with, not to waste much of the time, So our episode today is called Balancing Academics and Hustles. See, we want to hear from you how we can balance, like me, I'm a chef by profession and I really want to, open a restaurant here. So now, I want to know how you balance your academics and hustle. I really want to know how your strategies, how you balance academics and hustle.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for that very well-structured question. And I think it is very practical and relatable. Yeah, thank you so much for that question. To begin with, I think I can simply say balancing academic life and hustling. Firstly, I would say it depends on the kind of student, the workload, and of course, the type of job that a student would want to venture in. Yeah, sure.
So, let's talk about burnout. Burnout, maybe academic, pressure, side jobs.
Okay, so thank you so much. I think when we talk of burnout in terms of trying to balance academic life and side hustles, or jobs that can be done by a student while he's in school. When we talk of burnout, I think these are things that can come in when a student is actually failing to balance the time of studying and as well as balancing the times a student is supposed to actually attend to certain things, let's say writing of assignments and other stuff that usually happen in school.
Yes. So what about the academic impact? Does it have academic impact hustling like?
All right, I think I may be a bit moderate, but I cannot be one-sided. I can say when we talk of doing side hustles when you're in school, I can say of course it can affect you academically. That is only if a student is actually failing to, like I said earlier, failing to balance time. So I can say when a student is actually doing a certain job while he's studying in school, so there are times whereby they shouldn't actually forget the main priority why they are here, of which that is school.
Yeah,
they are all here for a degree, and that is of course school. So academic, let's say, performance can drop in terms of when a student is actually doing a certain job in school. So now I can exhaust this point in this way. So when a student is doing a side hustle, he or she needs to understand to say it comes with different pressures, of which the first pressure I can mention is time management. When you're doing a side, you're hustling when you're in school. Of course, you need to know that time will be very much valuable, and of which if you fail to keep time properly, it is going to affect you. So I can say it can affect the students in terms of managing time. Yes.
Okay, so you talked about time management. Yeah, time management. So now let's take for instance, you have a business.
Of course, I do actually. I'm actually right now currently I'm doing some mobile money thing and registering of SIM cards,
Okay.
of course.
So he's saying he does. He's a mobile money agent, and also he registers SIM cards. So now let's take, for instance, you have a lecture class, yeah.
Of course.
Then someone urgently needs to register or to replace their SIM card. So now, how do you do it?
All right. Thank you so much for that question. Like I said, I think earlier I mentioned to say one of the topmost thing that we need to prioritize is, of course, and always one thing that we should be evoking in our minds is that we are here for school. So let's say in that case, you say a customer really wants a SIM card to be registered, or let's say a customer wants to replace a SIM card that was lost, and it's very, I can say it's very urgent. So how can I handle such a scenario or situation? For me, I always tell my customer, like, of course, I do respect very much my customers, and I wouldn't love to turn them out, or I wouldn't love to turn them away to say no. Of course, I shouldn't just be. I'm just actually supposed to be focusing on school and not the business aspect. So now, what I always do is when a customer calls me, like in your case, like you've asked, I always tell them to say, give me time. Of course, I'm having a class where, and my customers always, even them, they are students, of course. They need to understand that we are both here, or we are all here for school. So I always try to negotiate with them to say, let me first, of course, do this thing, then I'm going to get back to you after I'm done with what I want to do. That is after my class ends or finishes. That's when I can go and attend them.
Okay. So now, this guy, he's explaining as though he's a leader. Are you a leader?
Of course, I can say, yeah, I'm a leader, I'm a class
Where, in
representative.
class or at church?
Okay, I can say at church, because at church, of course, I'm an officer, boys brigade. I don't know if you've heard of it from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
United Church of Zambia.
Mm.
When we come to school, I'm a class representative for two courses.
Now,
Yeah.
here we are saying balancing academics and hustles. Then here is Mitwa. Mitwa.
Muitwa sir, muitwa.
Wow. So here is Mitwa saying he's also a classroom. Now, just imagine he's handling three things, yeah?
Of course,
Three
of
things
course,
at once. Huh? He's a classroom, he's a student, and he's a businessman. Businessman.
of course.
Just respect that.
Sure,
So
sir,
now,
sure, sir.
let's give this scenario. Yeah, this one is a critical one. At what program are you doing?
I said business administration and marketing.
You take microeconomics, macroeconomics.
Of course, that's somehow a core course in my program.
Okay. So you're saying it's a course, yeah?
Of
Okay.
course,
So now, microeconomics, there is what we call trade-off. You know what trade-off, right?
trade off. I might maybe just a bit of maybe I don't know. I've just
No,
actually forgotten.
I've also forgotten. I've forgotten also. Okay.
Make a research on
Trade-off.
it.
Let's give this scenario. You have a customer who wants to withdraw 1,000. It's urgent,
Of course,
and they're saying they're going to pay you something because they've walked around the campus. No one is available, and you're the only one who is available. So they'll give you something. They want to withdraw, and they will give you something. Apart from that, I don't know if it's
so
Twitter 50
yeah,
when
it's a commission actually.
yeah,
It's a commission, sure.
yeah. Apart from that, they'll give you something. And there is a lecture, and you are the classroom.
Of course,
The lecturer has directed you to do something very important.
of course.
Yes. And now you're also a student. You need to get something out of that lecture. So now, talking about trade-offs, what will be your alternative, your best alternative? Because if you look at them, they are both or they are all beneficial.
Of course, I
Now-
think now you're talking about the opportunity cost, right?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
exactly. So now, what would be the best, your best alternative on that?
My best alternative. Okay, it's quite a challenging question, like you mentioned, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, so like you've said, maybe the lecturer really wants me at that particular time. As well as you've said, a customer also wants, let's say you said maybe I don't know if it's depositing or withdrawing 1,000.
And they want to give you something.
Yeah, and something.
You don't have chicken at your BH, your hostel. Chicken here they call it Searchan. Searchan
Of
here is chicken, broiler from hybrid. Yeah, you don't have chicken in your hostel now.
Oh,
Okay,
all
let's
right,
go.
all right. I think okay, to answer that question, I'm always perturbed. Like students mostly always when they approach me, their first impression will be like, "Wait, why you're always busy? You're always busy." So now I always tell them to say, "I'm not actually busy, but it's the things that I do that makes me busy. But I always look busy, but I'm not busy." So now answering your question, I can say I can of course manage to do those two things in a minute or just in 2 minutes. I can put, let's say, a minute for this thing to be done, another minute for this other thing to be done. So of course I think your question you're trying to say they are both, let's say, are supposed to happen simultaneously, like at the same time. ah, and I don't even have, let's say,
Okay,
chunks.
let's look at the cost and the benefit. Okay, let's start with the cost. What are the cost of going out and attending to the
Okay,
customer?
okay, maybe I would love for you maybe to mention the type of work that maybe the lecturer would want me to do for him or her.
I don't know. I'm not a representative.
Oh,
Maybe I'm
all right.
saying yes, I can't specify. I've never been a representative.
Of
You
course,
understand?
okay, I understand you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, I can say I can first, of course, it's very important for one to as well prioritize eating because you can't, of course, attend to the lecture without eating, and of course, you can't make studies without eating. Unless I don't have anything at that particular time, and there comes the customer to say he or she wants to withdraw 1,000 and they are going to put a surplus. Of course, I can start with the business aspect. Then later on, I can go now to the lecture.
Hmm, okay, let's say I want to make this broad and difficult. Let's say you're the one having the drive that contains information that is supposed to be taught. And there came the inspectors from the Ministry of Education. Yeah. They want to inspect how the lecturer is actually lecturing the class. Then you are the one having the drive which contains the information which is supposed to be taught to the students. Yeah.
That's really fine. Critical thinking.
Now, let's start with the cost. What is the cost of attending to the customer? And what is the cost of attending to the lecture?
I think the cost of attending to the customer, of course, like you said, maybe I don't have chunksy or certain, of course. So yeah, it will affect me, of course. I'm not going to have food to eat. I'll sleep with, I'm going to sleep with hunger. I'm not going to
Then
eat.
the cost of not attending to the lecture,
The cost there, actually, it might even affect 1,000 of students because, like you said,
including your student number.
of course, even myself, yeah, incorporating myself, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
So then what are the benefits? Now you must weigh these things. Yeah?
Yeah, of
You
course.
must weigh. People are listening to you. They want to get some ideas.
Ideas.
Yes, what are you going to do at this particular time? You see?
Okay, like I said, of course, the many thing, or I can say the basic thing that we are all here for, like I said, is education, of course, and that's my priority. So, trying to answer that question again, I think, okay, I can just go for, I can just attend to the lecture.
Hmm,
Yeah,
hmm.
can go to the lecture.
Anyway, they say suffer now and enjoy later.
Of course.
So now, when you go to the customer, you attend to the customer, you are enjoying. Then later you are going to suffer. So what is trying to say? Then when you
Of course.
attend to the lecture, you are going to suffer, but you will enjoy. It's beneficial.
Very beneficial, actually. It's very beneficial.
It is what he's trying to say. Make the right choices at the right time.
Of course.
This is balancing academics and personal. Okay, let me ask you these last two questions.
Of course, sir.
Okay. So one, should students be working while studying?
Should students be working while studying? Okay, I can say it depends. It depends. For me, I'm going for that idea in a in a manner that, or in a sense that, it is going to develop, or rather give them real world experience, and of course, it's going to help assist them in terms of financial finances. Yes, it's going to assist them financially and give them real world experience,
Okay.
of course.
Oh, thank you. Okay, does hustling help or hurt performance?
Hustling help or
Hurt
hate
performance.
performance? I can say, of course, again, I'm still standing on the ground that I can answer it in two ways. Firstly, of course it can affect. Secondly, it can't. So let me now try to clarify or justify my answers.
Yo.
Let me try to justify my answers, of course. I know that a lot of people are listening to this and they are really, really looking forward to knowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So if I say it's going to affect them, no, let's say there are certain students who actually maybe may be able to fail to balance their time properly. So in that aspect, I can say, let's say a student performance was top notch. Maybe a student used to get my A plus, A's, B pluses. So let's say now there comes an activity of doing an hustle or hustling. So in that manner, I can say it will start affecting them. The grades may drop, and even the aspect of having a fatigue, of course, even stress, they'll be having that. But again, on the other way that I mentioned, yeah, that it can't. It depends again with the type or kind of student. So let's say if a student, of course, there are students that are very brilliant for that part, of course. They're able to manage their time prudently. So if they are able to manage their time prudently, they have also side to affect their performances, of course. So I think those kind of students, they may not be able to be affected in terms of when they are doing some hustles while it's doing studies in school.
So in conclusion, is hustling beneficial or not?
It is actually beneficial in the sense that you know, we are not actually guaranteed to say when we graduate we are going to have a job or are going to be employed. So if you start, let's say, hustling in university, or let's say in university, it's just giving you real world experience or practical work. It's just opening your mindset to say, even when you are done with your degree, when you get that paper, you're not guaranteed to start working. But of course, if you used to hustle in school when you graduate, it's going, of course, to aid you in being a critical thinker to say, I can do this or that. Of course, even without finding employment or getting a job.
Okay, this one, there's a point in here. There's actually a point in here. I don't know if you viewers have gotten that, but actually there will be captions there. You will, what do you call it? Back forward the video. Yeah.
Oh, wait, guys, I don't know if it's kind of back playing the video, maybe.
Yeah, so that you get to understand what he's trying to.
So much, sir.
Balancing academics actually is not only about time management. It's about pressure and trade-offs. Not only about time management, pressure and trade-offs. You see, there was trade-off in that scenario where is needed by the lecturer and also is needed by the customer. So now there are trade-offs there. You weigh the cost and the benefits. Whichever will weigh more is what you go with. Anyway, this has been Beyond the Screen Student Connect here at Mulungushi University. I'm your host, Vessels, and my guest here is Mutwa.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
See you next time. See you next time. Oh, and the cameraman there. Gift. Mwaka.